Good afternoon. It's April 22nd, and I have been excited to do this for a while. This is episode one of a new segment that I hope is really going to matter to some of you out there because income, yes, it matters. And we're living in times that are challenging the amount of income that is required just to make it all work. I've talked to a lot of people that have said, I've got too much month left at the end of my money. And if you're one of those people, I welcome you to tune in here on Monday afternoons as we talk to money makers. We talk about money makers. We talk about things that make money. So without further ado, let's get the show started right now. And I'm excited about this. Hang with me for just about 30 minutes and see if this doesn't mean something to you. Well, good afternoon. I'm Carl Krebs, the host of Things That Matter. And as you have been paying attention, we've been talking about things that matter. We have a segment on Wednesdays called Farm to Market. We talk about what matters, what's happening in the farming community. We have a wonderful host with 50 plus years experience in that. Thursdays is our call. Doc Talk, we've been calling it, but we're rebranding it. You don't want to miss this Thursday's episode with my host, Judy Friesen. And last week, we started a third segment called TGI Faith. It's a Friday. We're going to be doing that one in the afternoon, sort of a drive home program, talking about matters of faith. And I do have some great guests lined up for that as well. And Tuesdays, we're still scrambling, but it's going to be a trucker segment. As a trucker, former and present, I love talking to truckers. Truckers, as you know, have really risen to the forefront. So Tuesday afternoons is going to be our trucker segment. We may start it tomorrow, but today, this Monday, April 22nd, first episode of Money Makers. This is where we're going to talk about things that matter, that affect our money. Our money affects everything. You know, people often misquote the Bible on money, and they say money is the root of all evil. No, it isn't. That's a misquote. The love of money is the root of all evil. And when people love money more than they love people, we got a problem. We know the saying, as we were examining this thing in the last few years, follow the money. Often people are overwhelmed. They have an unhealthy appetite for money. I want to say that I want to balance money talks and things that we're going to talk about on this segment on Monday afternoons, that we're going to balance them so we don't get things out of whack. We know that money's important. It touches every part of your life and my life too. And you can't really name something that money doesn't touch. Go ahead. I dare you do. And by the way, I'm going to be monitoring comments here. If you have comments, questions, you want to just put forward your point of view, no problem. And for those of you that are going to watch it later, I welcome you to get in contact with me. But Money Makers is going to be talking about things that make money and people that are making money. Boy, are we living in tough times. Try to stretch your dollar. I have the same challenge. I'm not a self-made man. Actually, none of us really are. We rely on the success of others to bring us forward, to raise us up. A rising tide lifts all ships. And no matter who you are, whether you're at the top of the food chain, whether you own the whole kit and caboodle of the company, you rely on the success of people below you. And so when we're talking about this, we're talking about jobs. Do you have a job? I have a job. I've had a number of jobs. But for most of my life, I've been self-employed. And that has given me tremendous opportunity. It has given me a lot of challenges, and we grow in those times of challenges. The challenges we're facing right now are how is it possible that I can make a little bit more money? That's the challenge. And people out there, you know what we're talking about. The cost of living has gone astronomically high. The cost of fuel, thanks to our great prime minister on the carbon tax, has gone up as well. It affects everything. That's why we talk about the farmers and the issues that surround that. And it all affects our health. So in developing a programming of that I think is going to speak to you and give you some insights, this is one of the aspects of it that I felt had to be in the mix. We had to be talking about money makers, the people out there making money and the things that can make us money. And I know a lot of you have these thoughts, and I've talked to a number of you, and no doubt you've been paying attention and following me. You've been hearing about LifeWave. Yes, I am going to talk about LifeWave, but I'm going to talk about it in the context of making money. You may be looking at other opportunities, and I wish you well. I have had a tremendous turnaround in my thinking. And it started to happen a little more than a year ago. And it happened when I was introduced to a company. And it happened when I started to lay down my defenses on a certain line, a certain business community that I have run from in the past. I have had an adverse reaction to anything involved in an industry that goes by different names. You can call it direct selling, or you can call it multi-level marketing, and there are many other names under which you can go. And I'm not here to talk about multi-level marketing. Not today, not at all. But I want to tell you, I was wrong. I was wrong about this industry for many years. But at the same time, I was right. And some of you have had experiences that have told you, my goodness, this is nothing I want to be involved in. I don't like the company. I don't like the product. Don't like the service. It seems like a pyramid scheme. Yep. If it walks and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And there have been many instances of bad agents in the field, bad products, bad services, all kinds of reasons why you should take a very cautious approach to this industry called multi-level marketing. I caution you, but I also challenge you. Here's where it turned for me. Here's where the penny dropped for me. I came into contact with a company. I don't own the company. I have no shares in this company. This company is solely and wholly owned by one individual. And you know that makes a big difference. He is at the top. And many of us, hundreds and thousands of people involved in this company and its product, are part of the physical makeup, the distribution chain of this company. And there is a reason why MLM gets a bad rap. And it's a reason why I had a real prejudice against it, because it was, and I said this on a live one time, I said, you know, often to me, it has been an excuse, a bad product with a good excuse to run a business that takes people for a good ride and leaves them holding the bag at some point. And we've seen that. And thank God, seriously, that we have industry watchdogs like the FTC and federal trade commissions and all kinds of other agencies that are watching over these people, because left to their own devices, many of them will take a lot of good people for a good ride and just cost them money. I've heard the stories. I've dabbled a little bit in so-called opportunities that have ended in disasters. Money gone, no one to be found. Somebody made money, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me, and it wasn't a lot of you. So trust me, I know how you feel about this. But what I found was a different company, and that's the difference. You have to be aligned with a company that puts forward an exceptional product at an affordable price and maintains its integrity, maintains its code of conduct, operates well, and I mean well within the perimeters of the legal and trade commission guidelines. If you're only just inside that and you're prepared to go outside that, you're probably going to exceed those boundaries at some point. And that's not something I want to be involved in. Some of my friends have said, Carl, I know you long enough. If you're involved in something, it's not going to be shady. It's not going to be edgy. It's not going to be sketchy. It's going to be something you can trust. Well, in 2021, I was introduced to this company, the one that I am proud, and I mean very proud, to be associated with. I'm proud to be associated with an owner that puts his values forward. He puts his faith forward. He has exceeded expectations of people when the tough times hit. And believe me, in every industry, in every company, that breaking line, the breaking wall, is usually about 5 years. If you can make it 5 years, you got a chance. It's not a guarantee, but you got a chance. This company is entering in 2024, its 20th year of operation, and it has received many awards. Fastest growing home-based business, in the top 5% of other companies in the same industry. Why does that happen? How is that possible? How can one man steer a company into such a esteemed area? It's because he does not waver. He does not flinch. He makes the right decisions. And he's a man of his word. And he demonstrates that in everything he does. David Schmidt, the CEO, founder, and inventor of the LifeWave products, is such an individual. I'm going to talk a little bit about LifeWave, but really, I want to talk about this whole thing. How can you make money? How is it possible? Because as I said already, can't say it enough, our dollars are being stretched and we're running out of money at the end of the month. And I know that some of you have that same thing. And you know that as companies that are struggling on the market, there's very little coming in the way of bonuses, wage increases, salary increases. You're very much left to the prosperity of the company, hoping that the shareholders, if there are shareholders, or the owner is generous enough to recognize the people that are employed by him to share in that wealth. And that's already got me onto another topic, but I'm going to step back a little bit, coming back to my preconceived notions of this industry. Call it what you want. I'm just going to call it out, MLM. There are a lot of bad actors in that industry, just like there are in every other industry. I spent 20 years in the automotive industry, and I was thankful to be associated with people that steered me right. People that taught me about integrity. They taught me about how to develop relationships. They taught me about how to build a business. And I started real small, as most of you would know. And most of you would. In any business you're going to do, you're going to start small. You're not going to have an overnight success. Anybody promising you that, I kid you not, is leading you down a garden path that ends into a big brick wall. There are no overnight successes, despite what others believe and what some will tell you. There are no get-rich-quick schemes. They're all, if they're there, they're going to be busted. Most of them are fraudulent. Most of them will ask you to invest. Give us some money. We'll show you how to do it. You know what? I read the book, The Snowball. It's the story of Warren Buffett and his exceptional rise. One of the most, if not the most successful Wall Street investor. And many times in that book, he says things that I wrote down. One thing he said, I'll never forget. He said, why do you give money? He talked about stockbrokers. He says, I've observed this for years. People take their chauffeur-driven car to the investment house where they meet with their broker who took the transit bus to work. Think about that. The guy who has the money shows up in his chauffeur-driven car to give money to a guy who took the transit bus or the subway system to get to work. You can do this, and you can do it on your own, but you have to do it slowly. You've got to manage your expectations. You've got to have reasonable expectations for anything to work. So when I started in the car business, I don't want to spend much time here because it's not the purpose of the call. I started small, 1 or 2 cars end of my driveway, maybe in some other places. I bought good cars, so therefore I had good cars to sell. And as I grow this business from a few cars a month in short order, no, I take that back. It took a while. I had to get connected with the right people. And I ended up selling them to people, retailers, just regular people buying cars, wanted an exceptionally clean car that was safety certified. And I was in the business before that became a rule, but I safetied all of the cars I ever bought. I wanted to make sure that it actually was safe for someone to use. And I started that way. It took a while, but I did build a multi-million-dollar sales business. That doesn't make me a multimillionaire. Don't draw the lines that aren't there, because I don't profess that to be in any way, shape, or form to be true. But I did build from a few cars to a few thousand cars being sold and exported and imported. And I relished that time. It was a great time to learn. But things change. That industry and those opportunities are no longer there. And quite frankly, having hundreds of thousands of dollars of contracts to be able to cash American checks and having hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory no longer appeals to me. The return on that investment is minimal. I have still some very dear friends. They're in the business. Their ROI, not worth talking about. But let me ask you this. As you look through the opportunities that present themselves to you right now, are there any opportunities that are viable, doable, achievable, and have a track record where you could actually get into a business with a minimal investment? Oh, I said investment. Hang on. No, it's not an investment. How about 25 bucks to join a community, which gives you a lot of necessary tools that you need for as little as that? And there's other opportunities. It all depends on where you want to jump in. And LifeWave makes it affordable. LifeWave is doable. As our vice president of sales said a few months ago, he said this is not for everybody, but anybody can do it. I thought, man, you have spoken words that speak to the heart of a lot of people who've all but given up on finding anything that's affordable. Is there a franchise out there that you can affordably purchase? I doubt it. You're going to have to get some pretty serious coin to get any of the good franchises. What about if you start your own business? What's the investment capital needed to set up a shop where you might repair or manufacture, or a storefront where you would purchase and sell? What's that cost? What about property taxes? What about employees? What about all of the things that are part of running a business? The overhead, as we used to call it, that may have changed. We don't maybe call it overhead anymore, but the overhead is real, and it is crippling in a market where money is no longer cheap. Interest rates have risen. Bankers are a lot more cautious. From experience, they've learned there's a high failure rate out there in startup businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a retail location or a repair shop or whatever it is that you have on your mind. And they want to see your plan. And I dare say that a lot of you, if you were to present your plan, well, how about this? Take your plan. You maybe are one of those people right now that is thinking, I've got an idea. That's great. I remember Earl Nightingale in his successful course, he interviewed someone. The guy says, when were you successful? I was on a park bench and I had an idea. Everything starts with an idea. And I don't want to bury your idea, but when you present it, how much certainty? How much are they asking for you to commit to? How much borrowing capacity do you have? And who are your friends that might come in with you? Those all things are part of that typical business model. But what if there was a different business model? What if you could get into something that would change your life, change your prosperity for minimal investment? Wouldn't you want to look at that? Wouldn't that appeal to you? So here I'm going forward with the idea that there is a business. It's a business that I'm presently involved in, and I won't get into the details here, but I'll be glad to talk about it in future events. What I want to talk about here is opportunity and money makers, people that are making money, things that are making money, and how can you get into a business with a minimal investment, a minimal purchase. Forget the word investment. $25 is not an investment, it's a purchase. Everything is affordable in what we do in LifeWave, and the product is backed by 20 years in the market. And what we see at the top of our company is what we see at the bottom. We're not here to pitch. This is not a pitch. I want to be clear, not a pitch. This is an opportunity to talk about money makers. And in the weeks to come, starting with next week, I have a guest on who's going to be talking about his trail, his journey to becoming independent. And I also have a friend coming on who's famous for using the word that the day he fired his boss. That's not just smart talk. It's not just smack that we're batting around here. It's really, truly possible that you could fire your boss and enter into a world. And I'll tell you one thing right now, I'm excited. I'm excited to bring. And my team is excited to meet you as well. So even now, at the inception of this first episode of Moneymakers, I invite you to reach out to me. And I'll introduce you to some people. And we'll talk candidly and honestly with all of it being verified. What we offer is an opportunity. No get rich quick. Not possible, not doable. Never did happen really for anybody. But we offer an opportunity. And in the product that is offering hope to people, think about getting paid for simply recommending a product that is scientifically proven to work. And we have a lot in there to unpack. But it is business. And this call is going to be less fluff and more about the business aspects and the things that are required that you already have. You bring an attitude that is coachable, teachable, and tell me that you're hungry. And I'll introduce some people that will help you on your journey. I don't have all the answers, but I've been blessed to be a part of a community of people that have cumulatively well over 100 years of direct selling. And first and foremost, we pitch nothing. We simply present, and we offer them hope. Hope in the form of a wearable patch, photo light therapy. Keep that in your thoughts. We're going to be talking about that as we talk about the LifeWave opportunity. But this call is to introduce you to another segment of Things That Matter called Moneymakers. And I want to leave you at this point and thank you for watching. And please, please share this out to your friends who are also looking for something. As Walt Disney famously said one time, do things in such a way that people will tell other people to see if they'll come and see if it's true for you. What is true for me and true for hundreds and thousands of other people, I assure you is true for you. As I said before, it's not for everybody, but anybody can do it. So let's meet again here next Monday. We'll pick a time. Thinking of the drive home show, but you can let me know what your comments are about that. And let's meet again here and talk about this, because this is going to be unpacked in a way that you've probably never seen it before. And I promise you, it's going to be something that matters to you. As always, God bless wherever you are. We'll see you again here on Things That Matter.